Stop what you're doing and listen.
Pipes is writing down a lot of stuff. I'm just going to go from the gut. And joining us now, Coach Bielma, Josh Whitman joining us now.
You get to say all the cool name drops.
Do it.
Brad Underwood, our guest.
College hoops.
How do you lose to Jackson State?
Call up every single person in the media that didn't put Kofi first team All-American. I don't know, just play like clown noises.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh, Michael Porter Jr. has been good, but he thinks the earth is flat, so I can't pick him.
Oh, boy.
Throw it up to Kofi, and he's just going to tear the rim off.
How is he so good? All right, Hans, I'm going to mute you for a while.
Okay.
Oh, there's a timeout on the court!
So what we want to do is build a same-game parlay that will win all of us some money.
Maybe Rondale Moore could beat Cooper Kupp, but he's not. Is it Instagram?
Yeah.
Is that what IG means?
I think you have to win the Big Ten title to win Big Ten Player of the Year.
Woohoo!
Wow, what a bad take.
Well. Welcome cold weather, huh? Good morning. It is The Drive with Tay and Piper. I am Lon Tay. Derek Piper to my left. Intern Kyle is to my right. You'll hear from him a little bit later. We'll zip through some of the NFL action coming up. Derek Piper, I have reached the lowest form of fantasy football. Today I picked up Darren Waller just in case he's available come week 15 when he's had a total of like 4 catches. That is how bad my team is. That's how bad the season is gone. I have literally now just pointed ahead to week 15 and figuring out what defense has the best matchup on week 15. Hey, when you've only won 3 games in your league, I think that's a smart move by me, right?
I appreciate the creativity. Need some innovation when things are going against you. You got to change things up.
The creativity. That is trying to manage a fantasy football team. All right, we got a lot to talk about today, including Chase Brown not making first-team All-Big Ten offensively, so we will touch on that. But first, we're going to head to the Dick Van Dyke Appliance Roll phone line and bring in our guy, Luke Goody. What's up, Luke?
What's up? How you guys doing?
Good. You heard the news about Chase Brown. I know, you play basketball. He plays football. You used to play football. Did you hear that news and kind of become aghast like the rest of us?
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually on FaceTime with my friend earlier today going through all the honorable mentions and the first teams and stuff, and he said, Chase Brown didn't make first team, and I was surprised. I mean, he did the stuff that he did this year, led the nation in rushing for most of the season, and the things he was able to accomplish. You see that first team and don't see his name, and you're pretty astonished. I think that's just a nod to the Big Ten, though, has good sports teams and good programs throughout the conference, and good players too. I think he should have obviously been first team. I'm a little biased, and it was fun to watch him this year, but he didn't end up being first team, and he did have a great season. So,
how important is that to you guys? Like a first team All Big Ten? What is that something that you just you'd rather win? I get this. I mean the team as a whole, you'd rather win and have success there, but there is something individual and nice about being awarded something like that. Correct?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you go to practice every day and work hard every day for the goodness of the team, and then when you happen to have those personal accomplishments, like an example last night was Coleman. I know, like being a teammate of Coleman, he was more excited with the win, but he was also able to get a triple-double, which is one of those things that he'll always remember and that is celebrated in the locker room and is going to be celebrated in the history of Illinois basketball, and it's something that is more of a personal accomplishment. A lot of guys on the team helped him get there, but it's one of those things that you love the team wins and all that, and then you also get some pleasure and excitement out of the personal stuff as well.
Well, Luke, you're a pro in this business, leading us right into last night's game, 73-44, blowout win for Illinois in the ACC Big Ten Challenge. On the note of Coleman, how aware were you on the bench of the stats and how close he was? And were there conversations going on in the huddle late in the game? Like, all right, let's get Coleman one more of these rebounds. You guys box out, let him go get one. Or does it just kind of happen naturally?
I was watching the whole time, so I knew exactly his stats the whole game. I was like, he could get it. He had 6 assists, I think, with like 10 minutes to go in the second half. RJ hit a couple threes, Matt had a layup, and then one layup that helped him get there. And I knew it was possible. I was watching the stats the whole time. I can't speak for the guys that were on the court or anything like that, but I was able to watch that. And when he got that last rebound, I was pretty excited for him. It's awesome to see him, kind of come. Play 2 years in the program and then be able to do that in his third year and, all the hype around him and be able to come through with that.
How'd you see him this summer prepare for a bigger role and know that now the style is going to change, a lot's going to go through him as far as running the offense and the 5-out, allowing him to play make. He's a big part of what you guys are doing defensively too. Like, how did you see that in the offseason, maybe with his approach, his motivation, just how he got ready for that?
Yeah, well, when we had our roster in the off season, kind of before the season, we knew that Coleman and Dane were going to be primarily our 5 guys. Without Kofi in the lineup, there's going to be a lot more opportunity to play a spread out type of basketball, and Coleman fits that role perfectly. Any big man, a guy at 6'11" that can go out and get 10 assists is a special player. So when you have a guy like that running your offense and your motion offense and getting into stuff like that, it makes everything easier.
What did you see from his passing last night? 10 assists, the way that he was able to find guys in the middle of that zone, just seemed like he was in rhythm the whole time, was able to hit him with some no-looks, and just had a great feel for the game. How did you see that play out?
Yeah, I mean, he did a great job. It's the stuff that we work on every day in practice. He was able to go through his reads, see all the guys that were cutting. I think we did a great job moving through the zone, getting the ball to Coleman in the high post, and I think he just did a great job with that. And, he stuck to the scouting report, did exactly what we needed to do.
The Luke Goody Show is always brought to you by Max Twin City Recycling, the Apple Dumpling Restaurant, Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, and the University of Illinois Alumni Association. I'll tell you more on those fine businesses here in a bit. Luke, they're playing zone. You're on the sideline. You can't play. How bad was that? I know that you're wanting to play anyway, but then when you see a zone and the idea that you could be out there launching, is it getting harder and harder, or is it, as it's getting closer and you're becoming more healthy, what's your mindset right now, and how hard is it to not be playing?
I mean, that's exactly what it is. As I become more healthy, it's worse and worse because you feel like you can go out there and play right now. Like, I've been doing a lot more stuff on my feet and being able to move a lot more, and the more and more I get to move, the more and more I'm like, let me play. I'm good. I'm good to go. And that's going to be the worst part because, right after you get the surgery, the first 2-3 weeks, you can't put any pressure on your foot. You're just sitting in bed the whole time and, really off of it. But now as you progress and it starts feeling better and there's no pain and you do all this movement stuff, and, that's when it really gets tough because you're like, shoot, why can't I go out there, And obviously I still have a broken foot and it's still healing, but, it's one of those things that I'm walking now and, I'm progressing well. Just let me get out there.
Luke, I know Syracuse has seen finer days, obviously, with Jim Boeheim, but, I mean, you guys just rolled this team by 30, and you were up like 8, and then all of a sudden it was like 20. I mean, how good is this team?
I mean, you guys watched the game. It was, I mean, we I know Coach Brad keeps saying it, but our ceiling is about as high as there is in the country. We got so many guys that are so capable of everything. I mean, you see Scott, who had an 0 for 10 game and still played his butt off. And then you got Coleman, who has a triple-double. RJ, who didn't start the season well and then has back-to-back double-point games or double-digit point games, had a great game last night. And, Matthew Meyer coming along, really rebounding and helping us out in that aspect. I mean, we just got so many different guys. And then, Matthew hasn't been scoring the ball lately, but, I mean, everybody knows what he did at Baylor. He scored the ball at a high level. So there's just guys on every given night that can go out and score. Jaden Epps has been such a solid focal point for us. Sincere Harris coming off the bench, being able to be that spark. We just got so many guys that, know their role, but are also capable in scoring. And I think that's the biggest difference between last year and this year. We were so dependent on certain guys last year to get theirs. This year it doesn't matter. Coleman goes from 0 points one game, and now he has a triple-double with 15 points. And, you got so many guys that can do so many different things, and I think it really is beneficial for the team.
Luke, on the note of Matt, he gave you a little bit of everything last night. 5 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals. How have you seen him come along, and what's different now about him than maybe earlier in the season?
That's a good question. I mean, I just think he's, learning the program more. He's learning how Coach Brad Underwood coaches and, how he is as a coach and what he expects from his players. When somebody new comes into the program, they don't truly understand it. And, some guys pick up on it earlier. Some guys, it takes a little bit to pick up on it. And I think he's really understanding how Coach Brad is, the culture of the program. And, he's really starting to fit in. And it's a great thing to see because we're going to need him in big games. And he is a great player. I mean, he got off to a slow start, and I think everybody kind of counted him out. But, everybody's seen what he can really do. 5 points and 8 assists is a really good, solid college game, especially when you got guys that are scoring, in the teens. And, like we do. We had, I think, 3 or 4 scores in double digits last night, and Matt was still able to get 5 points and 8 rebounds. So when you have production like that, I mean, it's very impressive and it's huge for the team, and I think that's why we, beat them by a lot.
Luke, you grew up in Big Ten country. You watched a lot of Big Ten basketball. Was the ACC Big Ten Challenge a big thing to pay attention to? And even now as a player, do you watch around the league, like Indiana, North Carolina tonight, other games in the mix in terms of trying to see if the Big Ten can pull this thing out?
Yeah. I mean, I watch college basketball every night, regardless of what conferences it is and all the other stuff. But, yeah, I mean, obviously I'm rooting for the Big Ten. It was a huge win for us last night in terms of, evening the score. I know Northwestern and Minnesota lost the first night, and then the Big Ten's actually down right now, I'm pretty sure. So I'll be rooting for the Big Ten teams tonight.
On the note of, Big Ten play, of course, coming next, is it crazy to think that you've had this the last few years of Big Ten play in the middle of December, but flipping the switch now?
It's like now.
It's happening. Going to Maryland on Friday. Is it kind of one of those, whoa, okay, let's get this thing going. This is going to count in the conference standings, and it's already here.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, everybody knows that Maryland is having a great season right now, and when we go from playing these games to right in the conference play, it really means something. Not that the games don't mean anything now, but I mean this truly means something. It's if we want to go back to back to back. So, the journey starts now in terms of the Big Ten play. I think it's going to be a great game. Maryland's a great team and obviously well coached. They got their coach from Seton Hall, and he's doing a great job there, so it's going to be a fun time.
Luke Goody is our guest, of course, brought to you by Max Twin City Recycling, the Apple Dumpling Restaurant, Dogtown Heating, Air and Plumbing, and the University of Illinois Alumni Association. Were you in there saying sniper when Brad Underwood went down last night in the locker room?
Yeah, I was laughing pretty hard. That was pretty funny. I got a good laugh out of that. Same with my teammates, so it was funny.
What do you think it means to Brad Underwood, who, Derek knows him really well during the summer when he's not in the coaching mode, and Brad can be a really funny dude, and I'm sure you've been around him, Luke, at times like that. You've also seen the other side of Brad Underwood. We've seen that when he's maybe yelling at an official or yelling at one of you guys, but what do you think it means to him to win his 100th game at Illinois? I know he said, and we're going to hear later from him, about how he hopes the next 100 make it here a lot quicker. But what do you think it means to Brad Underwood to pick up a game ball like that from Josh Whitman and know that he's recorded 100?
Yeah, I think it's pretty, special for him and emotional for him. A lot of people would attribute Illinois, coming back to a big time program to him, and I mean it's true. What he did here is very special and impressive, and the speed he was able to turn around it in. And I mean it was 2 years before we started really winning, and a lot of guys have sacrificed for that, and for him to get 100 wins is huge. I think it's just a testament to him as a coach and the program, the culture that he's built here, and all the guys have really bought in, and for guys to sacrifice for him, and then him to sacrifice for us as well. It's just a lot of hard work that goes into it. And, I'm happy for Coach, and I know all my teammates are, and especially Josh Whitman. I know he's really proud of Coach, and he's done a great job. So I was really happy to see that.
Luke, I wanted to circle back to your recovery. I know I asked Brad earlier this week, and he said that he likes to sit in the cold tub, and you're going at it in the underwater treadmill. What have you been able to do here recently? I know you've ditched the crutches, it seems like, at least at the games, walking around. And how has that progression been in terms of working your way back?
Yeah, it's going really well, really, really well. I have a big time meeting with the doctor, my 6-week checkup in a week from Friday when we get home from the New York trip, and that's going to really tell a lot. So prayers, Illini Nation, I need some prayers for that meeting with the doctor. But it's going really well right now. I get out of my boot in a week after the meeting as well, and progressing well. Running on the underwater treadmill, using all the resources. Obviously, Coach Fletch, I've been listening with him every single day. So just trying to, keep my body strong and, riding the Peloton, doing about everything I can do within the guidelines that the doctor gave to me is kind of my approach to it.
As far as practice goes, do you go off and do your own thing? I know that you've been able to shoot some of the standing jumpers and the form jumpers. Do you work on the side with Fletch? What do you do during practice while the team's able to obviously go up and down, and you're not able to do that quite yet?
Yeah, that's the one thing that I don't really like about the whole situation is I can't watch practice because I love being involved and being there with my teammates. But during practice, I go over to the weight room and lift. That's usually when I get my time in to lift. And then when the team's done, they come over and I do all my stuff with Paul Schmidt, our trainer, and he does a great job. I want to give a little shout out to Paul because he's really helped me a lot throughout this process and doing a great job with that. But I mean, I just come over here and lift and do whatever Coach Fletch has me do, and then once they're done, they come over here, get their own lift in, and we eat, and that's when I do all my therapy. So it works out really well.
I talked about this a little bit, Luke, with Jeremy Bush on the football side, but with Paul on the basketball side. Do we, as the common fan, have any idea how much work those guys put in, and just what the hours that they work? I mean, I'm guessing every time you're there, they're there. I just can't imagine the number of hours that these trainers put in.
That's exactly how it is. I mean, nobody has any idea how much Paul is here. He's here before us in the morning. He stays until everybody's gone. He's here on the off days, like half the day. He's always doing stuff, helping guys out. Everybody has their own kind of, especially in the season, everybody's banged up, has to do all their different things. So, sometimes we're in the training rooms taking care of 3-4 guys, and it's really impressive. And I have a lot of respect for Paul, and he does a great job. So I definitely don't think people really understand, how much he is doing.
I should have fit this question in before the Paul question, but when you get old like me, something comes in your head, you got to say it or you'll forget it. But I wanted to ask you, Luke, I could see you coaching one day, basketball. I could see you, obviously you do with this, our show with us, and you're excellent at it. You've got a career in this if you want it. But how does Luke Goody feel like Luke Goody will fit into this team? What do you, when you watch this team on a nightly basis, and as mentioned, maybe not in there as practice as much, but how do you see yourself fitting in with the squad that you've been watching so far?
Yeah, I think I'll just bring another aspect of being able to score the ball, really spot up, be a good shooter, and be a good cutter and facilitator, just all the things that I brought to the team, last year,
Sure.
But in an extended role. And then the biggest thing for me is just vocal leadership. I'm excited to get back on the court, really help these guys out. I think everybody right now is doing a great job, kind of being leaders in their own way, but I'm excited to get out there and just be that voice on the court. And I think that's one of the biggest things that I bring to this program and this team is the ability to, help guys out and, get them to position themselves in the best possible way to win, and that's the most important thing for me is to win basketball games. So being back out there with the guys, being vocal and stuff like that, as well as, everybody knows me for my shooting, but also rebounding, I take pride in that, and being able to guard my guy is another thing. So, bringing all those things and just a winning mentality, I think is going to be huge.
And talking trash. I mean, you got to keep that up, right?
That comes with me. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Luke, I know we pepper you with a lot of hoops questions for good reason. Is your fantasy football team doing better than Lon's?
Oh, my
Hopefully, maybe
goodness.
not too many Colts. I know you're an Indiana guy.
Yeah. My fantasy football league with all my cousins and my uncles, I'm in first place, like 9.
Oh, here we
Such
go.
an elite team. Such an elite team. But the ones with all my friends from back home, I'm only 6-6, so I'm struggling a little bit there.
Had to bring it up.
I made about 200 trades in the last 2 weeks, so we'll see how my team goes this week.
That's about how it works. Well, Luke Goody, it's been fun, man. I can't wait to get you on the court. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm enjoying the heck out of talking to you every week, but I can feel your pain. I can hear it in your voice when you start talking about wanting to get out there. So keep up the great work here. Keep up the great work on the conditioning and getting yourself healthy, because I know it's amazing how good this team is, and to know that we can still add Luke Goody to this roster is just an amazing thought going forward. So keep it up, my friend, and we'll talk next week.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you guys.
Okay, buddy.
Thanks, Luke.
That is Luke Goody. Good stuff, man. Max Twin City Recycling helps make that possible. Trusted recycling since 1955. Also, the Apple Dumpling Restaurant. It's on High Cross Road in Urbana. It is worth the trip there to Apple Dumpling Restaurant. Dogtown Heating, Air, and Plumbing, your home's best friend. You're needing it today. It is stinking cold out. And by the University of Illinois Alumni Association, shop the Alma Market at uiaa.org. And, of course, they are our friends on the text line, the U of I Atlanta Link text line. Luke Goody's got a career in this if he wants it. I bet I don't know. I could see him coaching. I can see him doing this. I mean, he knows the game, and he's fun with it. And like we laughed about, I started talking to him about football, and he brought it right back in, didn't he? I mean, professional.
Yes.
Professional on that end. So hope you enjoyed that with Luke Goody. That was certainly fun. We're going to talk.
As smooth with this as he is with the jumper.
Yes. And I can't wait to see him out there with the jumper. And I asked that question. I don't want to get nitty-gritty with it, but, this you watch this team, like, where do you see him? Where do you see him? Like, whose spot is he taking? Whose role is going to diminish some because of Luke Goody? Is it a Ty Rodgers? Is it a Sincere Harris? I know banged up a little bit, but, I mean, like, where do you see Luke? I'm not pinning you to the wall here, Derek, to say, all right, he's the first guy off the bench, but how do you see him kind of fitting into this team when he's healthy and ready to roll?
It'll take some time for him to get his legs back under him and be able to find the rhythm with a jump shot. But for all the reasons we know, what makes him a good player, with the way that he can shoot it, how hard he's going to play, rebounding-wise, he'll be in that mix in the second unit, I would imagine, and in that same type of mix with Ty Rodgers and Sincere, maybe potentially steal some minutes from an RJ, or we'll see how things go with Matt. Not that Matt's playing well. RJ's picked it up here recently. It's a good problem to have when you got a lot of good players and you kind of just feel it out of who's giving you the most at the current time. But I think there will be games where maybe you want Luke shooting versus Ty, who doesn't really bring that, or Sincere, who's not as wired to score it as Luke is early on. But I think when you get into the heart of Big Ten play, these freshmen have already made great strides early on in the season, will continue to do so. There's going to be something to be said, and you bring it up a lot, and we've talked about it with you get in a battle with Michigan State, with Wisconsin, whoever it may be, and it's late in the game, and you just need somebody you can trust. I think Luke's obviously shown last year and then going into this year that he's someone that has Brad Underwood's trust, and there'll be something to be said for that in terms of him getting playing time.
Great stuff. And as you know more than anyone as a journalist, every game paints a different picture, and every game has a different flow and a different momentum to it, where you may see a guy like Luke Goody maybe in one game he doesn't do much, and then in the next game he's your best player out there. And that's the beauty of having a deep, talented team like Illinois has, in a top, I think, 15 team in the country. Obviously they're 16th. Way to go out on a limb, Lon. But, I mean, again, like you said, it's a good problem to have a guy like Luke Goody who can shoot the ball, can knock down free throws, is mentally as tough as anybody on that court, and he wants it, man. He wants to go out there and guard the best, and he wants the ball in those clutch situations. I felt bad for him last night because I could just see him out there firing threes and having fun in a game against Syracuse. But he's getting there. He's progressing, and hopefully by the time the Big Ten season, the second part of the Big Ten season really rolls around, hopefully Luke Goody is out there doing some damage for Illinois. All right, we got plenty to talk about. We'll hear from Brad Underwood. You hear from Coleman Hawkins, who had a triple-double. And you said that about Luke Goody paying attention. The entire stadium.
They were on it.
State Farm Center, that is, not stadium, whatever you call it. The entire arena. I mean, as soon as he got that rebound, they just erupted. And you saw Coleman, he kind of did a little, arm punch, like, yeah, baby. So that was really cool.
He knew it. Cool. The fans were right on it. It helps to have the stats up right by
there's no doubt.
The score, which Coleman even mentioned in the postgame that he took a couple glances up to see the score and just happened to stumble upon his stat line. But he didn't need a whole announcement. It was a triple-double by Coleman Hawkins. Everybody goes, yeah. No, they knew.
That's awesome. That is very cool to see, and a great kid. So you'll hear from Coleman Hawkins as we go along. As we mentioned, Chase Brown did not make first team All Big Ten. Just going to let that settle in. Leading rusher in Power 5, leading rusher in the Big Ten, and he did not make All Big Ten first team. That went to Blake Corum from Michigan and Mo Ibrahim from Minnesota. And Chase Brown was I guess you'd say unanimous by the coaches and media, second team, along with Alex Palczewski was Palczewski second team, I believe, and Pilstrom, or was it? Yeah, those two, I think, on second team. But Illinois did not have anybody on the first team offensively. Of course, yesterday we mentioned 3 on the defensive side. but none offensively. So, I don't agree with it, and we can get to that as we go along. I'd love your thoughts on the U of I Lightning Link text line 359-2255. Let's catch a break. When we come back, we're going to visit with McLean Stahl. They've got the stadium sale coming up, Game Day Spirit, so you want to hear all about that. We'll also get Piper's thoughts on the win over Syracuse, and we'll hear from Coleman Hawkins and Brad Underwood. A lot to do, including a cold weather forecast.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather. Free Central Illinois, Champaign-Urbana vicinity. Real shockaroo to the system out there. That west-northwest wind and the cold air having topped out around 60 yesterday. Feeling more or less as it ought to be for December. We'll roll the calendar into that for the day tomorrow and then the start of meteorological wintertime. And just a hint of wintertime from time to time. We'll see that early next week, but nothing major on the maps and charts. But the roller coaster ride of temperatures will continue on. Windy, much colder today with sunshine and 35. A few scattered cloud patches as well. The west wind 20 to 30 and gusty. Clear colder tonight, diminishing wind at 18. Tomorrow sunny cold. Lighter west wind turns southerly and high to about 37. Increasing clouds as we move on through the day. Friday with up to 52. Back into the lower 40s, but a dry weather pattern for the upcoming weekend. Sunday night into Monday, a little bit of rain, maybe a thunderstorm thrown in for Monday. High temperature up near 48. And it's back to windy and colder weather with a hint of rain and snow come Tuesday of next week. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm Peter Roches, Greg Solgay.
UC Bank, leading the way to your financial wellness. No matter where your financial journey begins, Pathways banking options at Busey are designed with your goals in mind. UC Bank, building strong financial futures, one family, one street, one city at a time. Proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Find your perfect artificial Christmas tree at Prairie Gardens. With so many styles and sizes from which to choose, the area's largest tree selection is waiting for you. Your expert will guide you to a tree that's just right, from the lights to the style to the just perfect size, at prices you'll love and the very best tree guarantee. 'Tis the season to find your perfect artificial Christmas tree at Prairie Gardens. Extraordinary gardening, home decor, and totally Christmas.
Carpet Weavers is flooring their customers. They work with the biggest brands to bring you the best selections and prices on hardwood, luxury tile, carpet, and more. Stop in at 616 West Market View Drive in Champaign and let one of their sales associates help you find the perfect flooring for your lifestyle. Their 100% satisfaction guarantee allows you to be confident in your purchase. Carpet Weavers has been flooring people with beautiful carpet and flooring since 1988. In fact, they're nationally ranked as one of the top 25 specialty flooring stores in the country. Find out more online at carpetweaversflooring.com.
Champaign-Urbana Ballet's 25-year holiday tradition of the Nutcracker returns, December 1st through the 4th. Brought to you in partnership with Krannert Center for the Performing Arts, Area-Wide Technologies, Bill Bass Foundation, Champaign Ballet Academy, Stone Ridge Dairy, and Two Men in a Truck. Tickets at Krannert Center box office or visit cuballet.com. Join us for the unforgettable magic of the Nutcracker.
When you make the right decision, it feels good, like picking the perfect accent rug or choosing a good night's sleep over an all-night crime show binge. It feels really good to make the right insurance decision, too. That's why State Farm agent Kurt Lenschow is right here in Champaign-Urbana to help you select the right protection at the right price. Kurt will make sure you understand your State Farm coverages so you'll know what to expect if the unexpected happens. Just call him when you want the real deal. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Hey, this is Ben Grice at the Humble Hog in downtown Paxton. And if you haven't been up to Paxton for our barbecue yet, let me tell you, you don't need a reservation. Just come on up. Barbecue with us is about as casual can get. We've got all your favorites. We're talking brisket, pork, amazing smoked turkey, our sausage. And while you're there, be sure to try the Paxton Punch. You can thank me on that later. Check us out online at humblehogbbq.com.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands, owner of Lands Inc. Your heating and cooling system works hard for you all year long to keep you and your family comfortable. That's why it's important to have it maintained and serviced regularly. Our techs are ready to help you with all your indoor air quality, humidity, and filtration needs. Visit landsinc.com today for specials on a brand new train system for your home and to see for yourself why it's hard to stop a train. At Lands Inc., our commitment is to you, the customer. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
If you're looking for a new car, go to Sarah Champaign, because at Sarah Subaru, they have over 100 new Subarus available right now, all with symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Subaru Share the Love event is on too. With every new Subaru purchased or leased through January 3rd, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charities. Sarah Subaru will also donate an additional $50 to the Champaign County Humane Society and the Developmental Services Center right here in our community. Visit Sarah Subaru right off Route 45 in Savoy.
PDR Automotive in Urbana is a locally owned repair shop, and they've now serviced over 250,000 vehicles in their near 50-year history. Now, that's more than 4 times the size of a sold-out Memorial Stadium. It's more than all Division I athletes in the country combined. That's more than the entire population of Champaign County. That's more than, well, you get the idea. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Have you been to Pards in Urbana? Well, you need to go to Pards in Urbana. Here's what people are saying. Great customer service, friendly staff. They treat you like family. I love Pards. I was very impressed. Great service, very neat store. I was greeted and asked if they could help me. That's why you should go. Check them out. It's Pards in Urbana. They're between University and Maine. It's on Maple. Pards in Urbana, or visit pards.com. Pards.com.
When you're buying a battery, it's important to look beyond just the price and make sure you're buying a quality battery. So when you're buying one from the big box store, make sure you ask the question, what's the date on this battery? Is it dependable? Sometimes the big box stores have batteries that have been sitting on the shelf for years. Or you can just come to Interstate Batteries, outrageously dependable, and buy your battery from the people who only do batteries. Interstate Batteries at 2504 North Madison, Champaign, way out there, but totally worth the drive. How much is dependable worth to you? Interstate Batteries open 6 days a week.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Mike Greenberg. Catch Lon, Tay, and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Yes, Coleman, to start, when's the last time you had a triple-double? What was that moment kind of like for you to get that rebound at the end?
You said the last time I had a triple-double?
Yeah, or have you had one?
No.
No?
Not that I know of, I'm sure. Maybe in my, at the Cal Fit gym back home with my friends. But no, I've never had a triple-double. It was just, it was a great moment. I know my freshman year seeing Io get 2, I think DB mentioned to me I was the 4th player, or it was the 5th one in program history. So that's a great moment. That's huge. That's huge.
That was pretty funny. My last triple. McLean Stahl, by the way, our buddy with Game Day Spirit. He's actually nearing Bloomington, Indiana. He's heading over for the Carolina. What was that? The North Carolina Tar Heels and Indiana Hoosiers tonight. So we're going to talk to McLean tomorrow about the Game Day Spirit Stadium sale. I can't talk today, Derek Piper, so I'm glad that Coleman Hawkins can, because he is a funny kid to listen to. You have covered a lot of guys. Where does Coleman rank in terms of his ability to give a good interview and have fun at the same time?
He's pretty high up there.
I bet.
We like it as the media. I mean, Coleman's fun to talk to, and he will tell you exactly what he thinks. And that's
right,
something that we always
right.
appreciate, because you get caught into some guys and you understand why, where they're a little bit of the boilerplate answers, don't want to reveal too much. Coleman he's really good at dissecting the game, so that's always fun for me to hear the way that he sees things and how just the way that he's processing and able to break things down, but also will tell you exactly how he feels. And that's something that we appreciate. And yeah, he's a funny guy too. He's a fun one to have conversations with. So is he as entertaining as a Georgie? That's probably the top of the top. Yeah. Io was always great.
Yes.
But Coleman we've been really fortunate to have a lot of guys,
no doubt, on
this team. And I know even on the football side that are awesome to talk with.
Who is on that list of triple doubles? Io had 2.
Sergio McLean had one against Michigan, 2001.
Okay.
And then the real Mark Smith had one back in the day as well. I think it was against Minnesota.
The real Mark Smith. He was really good, by the way, from Peoria. Who did he play? Oh my gosh, I'm not having a day. So I'm gonna shut up right now and not even try to remember. Mark Smith played with someone that was really good as well. Was it Derek Holcomb? maybe. I don't know. Anyway, really good from Mark Smith. So those are the triple doubles. That zone, he's the perfect guy to put in the middle of that zone. Not only can he pass, not only does he have the skill set to shoot, but he also can see over guys in the middle, and he just has an awareness. I know Brad Underwood said that after the game, that he has an awareness to make that next pass. In other words, he almost knows before he gets the ball where he's going, and I think that is such a key ingredient when it comes to beating that zone and having a guy like Coleman Hawkins in the middle.
Yeah, absolutely. And as they waited on the text line, U of I line and link text line, Eddie Johnson. He was a senior.
Thank you, Randy.
Same year that Eddie was a senior, Derek Holcomb, and then Derek Harper was a freshman.
Oh, wow.
And that was in 80-81.
So only I would go with Derek Holcomb instead of Eddie Johnson. I mean, that tells you a little bit about me. What in the hell, Lon? Eddie Johnson. He was a pretty good player.
I would say so.
I mean, just a pretty good little player. There's no doubt.
Derek Harper, pretty darn good.
Yes.
But on your note about Coleman, as someone that, and he mentioned he loves to watch a bunch of Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
Draymond Green, as far as his facilitating, top of the key, and just being kind of that new age playmaking front court piece is why you're hearing a lot of buzz about him as far as an NBA prospect. And I know that Sam Vecini of The Athletic last night.
Yes.
I was impressed, or I wouldn't say surprised, but the fact that he came out and said Coleman might be my favorite prospect in this draft.
Wow.
And he has him 29th on the big board, and it's because 6'10", dribble, pass, and shoot, can defend really well, can switch on to anybody, but in the middle of that zone. And Coleman wasn't hiding anything the day before the game when we asked him, how do you beat a zone? He's like, well, I'm going to be in the middle, making plays, making passes. He didn't need to be like, well, I'll hide that. Again, that's Coleman telling you what he thinks, but it's just his feel for the game, and that's been a big part of who he was coming out of high school. He played at Prolific Prep with Jalen Green, pretty darn good player for the Rockets right now, and then Amari Burnett, high-level guards, and Coleman led him in assists.
Wow. That's 6'11".
Yes.
I mean, I guess that shouldn't matter how tall you are, but
no, you just don't
normally
necessarily
you don't see
expect that the offense to run through someone that has that size, and you can play the 5 and make the center come out and guard him, and then you just really open things up.
Here's Derek Piper, proof that he was there last night.
The crowd seemed to be trying to will Coleman to shoot a little more in the middle of that zone. How did you kind of assess his approach there? And he turned it up a little bit more in the second half. Aggressively.
Yeah, but it was about being patient and making the right reads. Sure, he could have shot probably 30 balls tonight. But again, a smart player knows, let me give my teammates some good looks. And we had a pretty good Colgate against them, put a guy in there who couldn't shoot, and just did a lot of the same things. And again, it's a tribute to Coleman because he would rather make the pass than the shot. And yet he's a very good shooter. So he's very unselfish that way, and yet when the opportunities were there, I thought in the second half he took some of the right ones.
Of course, Brad Underwood talking about Coleman Hawkins and doing the right thing. You guys,
were you like the people in the stands that you could hear them yelling at him to shoot?
A little bit. I mean, that's the infuriating thing about a zone, is that you have like 6 good looks every time down. And what you don't want to get caught up doing is taking the first good look every time. And especially if the ball's not going through the hoop. I mean, if you keep throwing it to Goody on the wing and he hits the 3 every time, then you just keep doing it and he keeps shooting it and all's well and, everywhere. But it's when you get that first shot and you miss, and then it's that frustration of, like it's almost like when you play Wisconsin and you know they're going to hold the ball for 40 seconds and then shoot. So when you go down and shoot quick, then you're like, I'm not going to get it back now for a minute. Even though Syracuse wasn't like that last night, which I give him credit. But, yeah, I mean, I think early on I was wanting him to take that shot. I mean, that's a 15-foot jumper that you would think most everyone would make with their eyes closed. But it's just sometimes not that simple.
Sometimes it's not. I know that Io was one of the best mid-range shooters in college basketball. I think he shot about 45, 46%.
That's crazy.
On those mid-range twos, which if you're an analytics guy, you do the whole math of, and I know you
but
don't like going that way.
You hate those shots, right?
They hate them. I'm pushing back on that in terms of people go, oh, well, the mid-range game's dead. Right. And then I said, well, why do some of the best players in basketball
Karl
shoot them?
Malone was probably the best.
Well, yeah. I mean, back in the 90s, highly coveted shot. I mean,
Big
Jordan
time.
in the mid-post, even Kobe in the mid-post. But now, I mean, Durant takes mid-range, Chris Paul, like, go on and name them. Of course, you got to be good at that shot to make it make sense. When you do up the math, like, if you shoot 45% from 2, it's like the same as shooting 30% from 3.
Wow.
Illinois last night, 28%, took 39 threes, one shy of the program record. Illinois hoisted 40 of them, of course, against North Carolina in the national championship game. It just, the fact that he was open a lot, we didn't see him take a turnaround jumper. Now, there were a couple of times where he dribbled in, took a little right hook. I thought he did that early, and then
it was like right in the start of the game, right? He had like a little bit of a baby hook.
Yep. Start of the game, he had a couple of runners, baby hook, and then it was late first half, early second half when Illinois' threes weren't falling. Then you're like, all right, Coleman, I know you're making some really good passes, and he was really crisp with knowing where to go with the ball and made just great decisions, but I thought he could have taken a few more, and he did get more aggressive there in that second half, which was good to see, though.
I mean, he was laughing in the postgame about the idea that the coaches want him to shoot more, and he said, I mean, that's just tough. That's basically what he said, and then he smiled, almost like, well, that's tough because I'm going to get everybody else involved, and they're just going to have to deal with it, essentially is what he was saying, and he was smiling while he was saying that, thinking that, but these coaches want him to shoot. They trust him. Coleman knows it.
It means a lot. Just every day in practice, there might be something I see, and he's the head coach coming up to me, asking me what I see, what I think is best. It means a lot to have his trust. So it's just like a motivating thing, when a coach comes to you and asks you what you see out there. My confidence is sky high when stuff like that happens. So just knowing that he trusts me, it means a lot.
That means a lot. There's no doubt. And Coleman Hawkins is a guy, like you said, not only does Brad Underwood trust him, but NBA scouts, I think, like what he can bring to the table. And not only in the sense of his shooting ability and scoring ability, but also his passing ability. Does he rebound well enough in your mind, or does he leave you wanting more when it comes to that?
Brad mentioned even last night that he's left him wanting more at times. He's capable of being able to get after it on the glass, but when you look at the fact he only had 1 rebound against Virginia, that really angered Brad in his 31 minutes, 5 rebounds against UCLA. So he's been up and down with his rebounding efforts. And, of course, sometimes it's if Terrence is going in there and Matt, you don't need him to just be an automatic 10 boards, but you do want him to be able to grab those, and he's even one that if he gets it, could push it up the floor. Yeah. So that's something that you still want him to be more consistent with, and that's kind of the key phrase with Coleman, isn't it? Like even last night, coming off a game against Lindenwood where he didn't score and he also had 6 turnovers, just if he's able to find that where you can kind of trust him as far as production-wise night in and night out, that's kind of the next step for him where we've seen him step up and have a huge game and really kind of wow you with, okay, this is exactly what the NBA is looking for. It's just doing it a little bit more of a night in, night out basis.
It took him 15 to get 5, but Terrence Shannon certainly can knock down threes with that smooth stroke. Did we know coming in that he could shoot at this kind of a clip in terms of deep?
He shot it last year 38% from deep, which is a career high. Now, he didn't have that type of shot-making efficiency early on in his career, but had really made himself into a really efficient catch-and-shoot guy. I know you look at the synergy numbers, he was like 97th, 98th percentile of a catch-and-shoot guy. Essentially, in layman's terms, he's one of the best out there.
Correct.
You give him a kick out, he's going to make that at a really high clip. And now that we're a little bit more in tune with his work ethic, now that he's here and he's talked about getting up at 4 a.m. and putting up 1,000 shots a day, it makes sense why he's taking those strides. But I know the next level was similar to Io, kind of wondering, all right, was last year a one-off? Was it a good shooting year, and will he come back to earth a little bit this year? He's showing that, I know 5 for 15, he'd like to be a little bit higher than that. He got a lot of really good looks last night. Forced a couple, but for the most part they were open, so I don't have a huge problem with him, especially taking double digits threes, but that's definitely within his capacity. And as we talked about, his playmaking has really taken strides, and we know he's a great athlete too.
Can we spend 30 seconds on Jim Boeheim? Let's
do it.
I mean, they asked him about his first trip to Champaign. He's like, yeah, great building, great.
He wanted nothing to do with anything as far as questions go.
Funny.
And it was weird because there was actually a decent turnout of Syracuse media.
Really?
And it was the quickest press conference.
3 minutes, right? Like Stevie said that when I walked in.
That I've ever seen for an opposing. Like you think about it like a high major coach, because you bring in the Lindenwood coach or something like that, and then there's maybe one Lindenwood media guy that you feel bad for. And you don't want to just ask him a ton of Illinois questions.
Right.
But, yeah, he was sour and even called out Gerard.
Yeah.
He was throwing shots and
he
obviously
really was.
not happy with the state of that team and the programs and on shaky ground. Maybe it's time for him to hang it up.
Well, usually when they get salty like this, it's time, right? I mean, it's time for Boeheim. He's done his thing.
47 years.
Yeah, he's not catching Coach K, right? He'd have to coach another 10 basically to catch him. But especially with the rate they're going right now, I did like his answer to one of the reporters from Syracuse. She asked about, I guess, Gerard.
Yes.
And his confidence, and he's like, he's a senior. Like if he's not confident now, then he doesn't need to be out there. I mean, he's right. He's right. He did have some good things to say about Illinois' defense. And that's certainly one thing where Illinois stepped up and played some solid D. And, of course, we can get to that next hour as well. Brad Underwood won his 100th game at Illinois, so a really cool accomplishment there. Josh Whitman presented him with the game ball after that, after he fell. Who was that Lieb or Severn? Or
Lieb had the cooler.
He had the cooler. He was trying to hide it from Brad, and Brad walks in. If you haven't seen the video, it's the funniest look on Brad's face. Like my dad used to give that look. Like Brad walks in the room and just kind of points with this smirk on his face like, I know what you're doing. And then he starts to run and he falls, and you're like, uh-oh. And there's Jeff Alexander trying to pick him up. Meanwhile, Underwood just gets drenched, of course, and then presented the game ball. So really cool stuff. I mean, that is a unique, Luke Goody mentioned that, the culture. There's a unique culture going on with this basketball program, and these guys have fun together. You think about last year when they do the stomp, and Kofi loved that. And I think Brad gives them tough love, and I think they respond to that well.
Yeah, they definitely do. There's a lot of great team chemistry. They obviously respect and understand what Brad's trying to get out of them and what his motives are. And the fact, as we've discussed, a big part of recruiting is trying to identify players that respond well to the way that he's going to coach. And they don't hide anything. They bring them into the practices, and Brad doesn't pretend that he's going to be like this quiet coach and just let some mistakes go. It's okay. Just pat you on the butt. Like he's gonna push you, and he wants guys that are willing to respond to that. But obviously, you see the celebrations in the locker room. Awesome. There's a lot of, and it's easy to have fun when you're winning as much as this program is right now, and to see where it's come from the first 2 years continues to be a fun thing to have build. And right now they're in a situation where you don't expect it to go away.
No doubt. When we come back, you will hear Brad Underwood and what he had to say about picking up win 100. It is The Drive.
A tradition of excellence over 150 years in the making. At Busey Bank, we're committed to building relationships that span generations. Wherever your journey in life leads you, we are with you along the way, creating a legacy for you and your family. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868, proud to be the official bank of the Fighting Illini. Member FDIC.
Kelsey Furniture in downtown Tuscola sells Tempur-Pedic beds. What's it like?
I'm going to tell you right now, Stevie, that thing is the best thing I've ever slept on in my life. My wife and I both have said we've never had better night's sleep. And the people at Kelsey's were fantastic. Brian is the guy that helped us. As much as I did my research, he had a world of knowledge about beds themselves. Oh, man, it's like sleeping on a cloud, man.
Kelsey Furniture, downtown Tuscola.
Prairie Gardens is your local winter wonderland. See all the Christmas magic on display with ornaments, decor, wreaths, garlands, and so much more. And big savings this week. Take half off all Christmas silk stems, half off all pine swags, and half off all Christmas ribbon. Plus, find your perfect artificial Christmas tree with the largest selection around and the very best tree guarantee. Prairie Gardens, your Christmas destination for over 50 years.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. There's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
Since 1994, Matex Service Company has been the preferred heating, cooling, plumbing, sewer, and electrical provider in East Central Illinois. Now is the best time to ensure your home's heating and air system is ready to keep you comfortable year-round. So, your area's top-rated service team is giving you 1 month of heating and air maintenance for free when you join our ProTune monthly maintenance program. With a team of thoroughly trained, licensed, and background check technicians ready to serve you, Matex has the solutions you need to ensure your home is comfortable all year long. Matex, feel the difference.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B at Stevie J Broadcasting, and you are listening to the amazing ESPN Radio 93.5.
Brad, 100 wins at Illinois. What does it mean to hit that milestone?
Yeah, a lot of really good players, a lot of great coaches, administration who helped us survive early. It doesn't happen. It's, I'm the beneficiary of that. I'm grateful. I've said it many times. I couldn't imagine doing it anyplace else. I love this place. I love our fans. I love the fact that you all care about us enough to write about us and follow us. And I hope there's 100 more and counting. In the future. I think this program can elevate to levels that we haven't seen yet. There were some hard times, and I don't forget those. I hope the next 100 don't take as long as this one, though. And that's, that means we've sustained a level of success that we didn't have the first 2 years.
Yeah, let's get those next 100 like in the next month. Let's get that going. All right, it is The Drive. ESPN Radio 93.5, Lonte, Derek Piper. Kyle, the intern, is here to ask us, or to help us rip through these other Big Ten ACC games. Real quick, I asked you while we were listening to Brad Underwood, who's the most important player in his coaching life? And we brought up Io, obviously, who meant a lot to him. You brought up Kofi. We brought up Juwan Evans at Oklahoma State. And then you brought up Thomas Walkup, who was unbelievable at Stephen F. Austin. And it's almost as, I think all four you could almost make an argument for. Walkup got him kind of the fame, if you will, where people knew who Brad Underwood was. Juwan Evans got him.
Upset some people in the tournament.
Yes.
Made him a hot name, yep.
Got him to Oklahoma State. And then Juwan Evans got him here, essentially. So did Josh. Good job, Josh Whitman. And then, of course, Io helped turn this program, along with Kofi and others. Don't get me wrong, Trent. I mean, yep. I know when you do that. I now know when people go up and receive an award and they say, if I start to say anybody, I'll leave somebody out because it's true. But it's kind of funny to think about that. And if you ask Brad that question, I wonder what his truthful answer would be. I don't know. It'd be an interesting question. Can you ask him that when you are supposed to ask him about chicken dinner?
I don't know. I'll have to wait a little bit. I've already put him on the spot of asking him to compare Io and Terrence Shannon. So if I rifle off too many tough questions in the same month, you might just start to get a little angry.
Brad, my co-host, Lonte, wanted me to ask this question. And then he'll be like, tell Tay to show up at the press conferences if he wants to ask a question. Kyle, do you want to rip through some college basketball from last night of the Big Ten ACC Challenge? Final year.
Yeah, there was some good games last night. There was one going on during the Illinois-Syracuse game that went to double overtime.
Wow.
Clemson over Penn State, 101-94.
I know, Derek, I read your question and answer on Illini Inquirer. That was a lot of questions and a lot of answers.
Sure was.
Good stuff with that.
Thank you. I survived.
probably about 8 hours to do that. But you have some good things to say about Penn State and the idea that they're going to launch from deep. I mean, as soon as the ball's across half court, look out. They're ready to shoot. And but still, not an impressive showing, I think, losing to Clemson like they did.
No, and it's a game that Clemson was favored in. To take it to overtime, I'm not going to give Penn State too much credit for that. It was a toss-up game, not necessarily a disappointing one that the Big Ten had chalked up of, this is going to be an automatic W. Probably one that Kyle's going to mention. You would imagine Wisconsin
right
at home against Wake Forest. But, yeah, Penn State shoots a ton of threes. They've gone into the week leading Baylor as far as high majors, most three-point makes per game.
Wow.
Over 12 per game. And Jalen Pickett's
he's good.
Probably the best point guard in the Big Ten right now.
Maryland absolutely blew out a putrid Louisville team, 79-54. Louisville is 0-7 now. Iowa beats Georgia Tech 81-65.
Back to Louisville and Maryland. Who wins between Syracuse and Louisville?
Syracuse.
By 10.
I guess so.
Does that game tell you anything about Maryland? I know you were covering a game and not able to watch it, but does that tell you more about Maryland or just that Louisville is just...
They're putrid.
Horrendous.
They're just so bad.
What has happened there? All the clubs shut down, or Angel get a different job?
I guess so, man. Kenny Payne wasn't able to make a whole lot of waves this offseason in the portal, but your answer's a lot more fun than the one I just gave. So, I mean, they lost in Maui.
Please welcome Angel to the main
by
stage.
30 to Arkansas, 30 to Texas Tech. Cincinnati beat him by 20.
Wow.
I do think Maryland's really good.
Yeah,
The one thing
too.
I would take from last night from Maryland's side, Jameer Young played well, their transfer guard, I believe from Charlotte.
Okay.
And we know that Dante Scott and Julian Reese have been really good for them. If they get solid point guard play, too, that just makes them
Dante
tough.
Scott. We'll talk all about Maryland tomorrow leading up to that. All right, what else we got?
Iowa beats Georgia Tech 81-65. Chris Murray had 31 and 20 in this game.
Man, is he Keegan now? Is he that good?
Whoa.
Pipes?
Whoa.
Oh, boy.
I'm not there yet.
Okay.
No.
Wow.
He's really good. I mean, he's averaging 21-10.
He does have one of the more memorable misses in State Farm Center history. Thank goodness.
Thank him for that. He also went, one of...
Yeah, that's right. From the
7
free throw
or 8
line.
from the free throw line.
That was weird.
If my memory serves me correctly. But these are the type of numbers that Keegan was putting up throughout the entirety of the season.
Right.
How can he keep this up? But 40% from 3, that high of volume of scoring and rebounding. He's a really good player. I just think that some people have already said, he's going to be Keegan. But so far he is.
Finish it off, Kyle, so we can get to a break.
Derek mentioned it. Wisconsin lost at home to Wake Forest. Tyree Appleby of Wake Forest went for 32.
Okay.
And then Michigan blew an 11-point lead at halftime and fell to Virginia 70-68.
We need to talk about those two games next hour because we've run out of time here. We got to get to a break. We got a lot more to do next hour, including hearing more from Brad Underwood. It is The Drive.
Big Bad Night, Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
What do you mean, I get the whole store?
I'm Dennis Reekin, chairman of Dick Van Dyke Appliance World. And when we promise you the whole store, we mean all we do is appliances. We offer a showroom full of the top appliance brands, complete with our free 10-year protection plan.
Who does your warranty work? Some outfit with a 1-800 number?
No way! Our service and installation technicians are employed and factory trained by us. And our protection plan means you pay nothing for covered repairs.
So, I get a free 10-year protection plan, a guaranteed best deal, a hometown service department, and a showroom full of name brand appliances? Wow!
Hey lady, that's my line. All we do is appliances, and we do them better than anyone else. Wow!
Big Bad Night, Appliance World. When you buy from us, you get the whole store.
If you want a steak, I mean a steak, prepared the way you want it, you've got to go to Long Branch Steakhouse. Hi, it's Jay Lehman. It's been over a year since I was introduced to Donnie at the Long Branch Steakhouse in Gifford. And when I want a great steak, that's where I go. And the sides, the Brussels sprouts, the mac and cheese, and the salad with Donnie's secret frog dressing. Long Branch Steakhouse in downtown Gifford. Open Wednesday through Saturday from 5 to 9 p.m. there's always room for the Long Branch Steakhouse.
Towards the gap, towards the wall, and it's gone. Home run, Nolan Arenado.
This is Cardinals broadcaster Ricky Horton. Soon enough, the boys of summer will be back and on the fields in Jupiter, Florida. Spring Training 2023. It'll be another season of the home runs, the hits, and the unforgettable moments. We'll have you covered and be with you from the first pitch to the final out, right here on the Cardinals Radio Network.
You're listening to WSJK ESPN 93.5 Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
President Biden calling on the Senate to act on a bill that would prevent a rail strike.
White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre is urging the Senate to pass a measure that would block rail unions from striking next week.
The president believes that a bill averting a rail strike needs to reach his desk by this weekend.
A separate bill approved by the House would also add 7 paid sick days for rail employees, a crucial part of the labor dispute.
It's really a health issue. It is a physical health issue.
Sean Geary is vice president of the Brotherhood of Maintenance of Way Employees, one of 4 unions who did not ratify an administration-brokered agreement earlier this year. At the White House, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
A third party stepping in to manage the water supply in Jackson, Mississippi, after the city was under a boil water order for more than a month over the summer after severe floods.
As we work to fulfill our responsibility to keep the American people safe, to protect civil rights, we will continue to prioritize cases like this one that will have the greatest impact on communities most burdened by environmental harm.
Attorney General Merrick Garland, the Environmental Protection Agency, is examining whether Mississippi officials discriminated against Jackson, a predominantly black city, by refusing to fund water system improvements. The National Weather Service says record high temperatures in Texas and Louisiana fueled the storm that fired up multiple tornadoes last night in the Deep South, destroying numerous homes, a fire station, and killing at least 2 people in Alabama when a tree crashed into their mobile home. Wall Street stocks rallied after Fed Chair Jerome Powell signaled a slowdown in rate hikes. The Dow added 737, the Nasdaq plus 484. The S&P gained 122. America is listening to Fox News.
The best part about taking ZQuil Pure Z's Sleep Plus Next Day Energy at night is actually the next morning. I wake up alert with none of the grogginess from taking too much melatonin. Pure Z Sleep Plus Next Day Energy is a bilayer tablet with immediate release melatonin and extended release B vitamins to help me fall asleep naturally and wake refreshed. It's my secret weapon for a great night's sleep and a great morning.
Hi, Mom. Hi, Mom.
Can't beat that.
ZQuil Pure Z's Gummies. Sleep better, wake your best.
Hey, Dak Prescott here. Why do I choose proven quality sleep from Sleep Number? Because better sleep elevates my game. My Sleep Number 360 smart bed helps me fall asleep faster, keeps me cool, and effortlessly adjusts for my best sleep. That's more focus, more edge, and more highlights. And that means more wins for all of us.
It's time for our Cyber Week special. Save $1,000 on select Sleep Number 360 smart beds and adjustable bases. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Sleep Number, the official sleep and wellness partner of the NFL.
One of the most popular voices of 1970s rock and roll has been silenced.
Christine McVie, the co-lead vocalist and keyboardist of Fleetwood Mac, has died at the age of 79 after a short illness. Her family revealed the news in a statement which read, "She was a revered musician who was loved universally." The singer, whose name was Christine Perfect, was already a charted artist in England when she married bassist John McVie and joined Fleetwood Mac.
Fox's Michelle Polino. During the band's peak commercial years, Fleetwood Mac sold tens of millions of albums. Her breakup with John McVie, along with the split of Nicks and Buckingham, was famously documented in the 1977 release Rumors among the best-selling albums of all time. New York Congressman Hakeem Jeffries has been elected House Democratic leader. He'll become the first black American to lead a major political party in Congress. Investors getting a sign of economic resilience in the latest update of the GDP.
The country's gross domestic product grew more than first estimated. According to updated figures, the third quarter GDP of the U.S. grew at an annual rate of 2.9%, up from the 2.6% rate in the preliminary reading issued last month. This seems to indicate the U.S. is on track to expand again as the year draws to a close, but estimates vary from as much as 4% to less than than 1%. The figures are adjusted for inflation. Lillian Wu, Fox News.
The federal appeals court has reinstated a lawsuit brought by a former University of Connecticut women's soccer player who lost her scholarship after she made an obscene gesture to a television camera as the team celebrated winning a conference championship. The ruling overturns part of a 2020 decision by a lower court judge against Noriana Rodwin, who tossed her suit after deciding she hadn't proven her treatment was discriminatory. I'm Lee Silasera. This is Fox News.
Hello again, everyone. Let's check weather for Eastern Illinois, Champaign and Panama vicinity. This last day of November, we'll roll into December and the start of meteorological winter tomorrow, and the feel of wintertime for the day today, despite sunshine to a partly cloudy sky at times. High temperature around 35. That west wind 20 to 30 and gusty. Average high this time of the year, by the way, is at 45, and certainly no sign of any 60-degree weather in the short term coming back our way. Yeah, there may be some milder days ahead. Colder tonight, though. West wind will diminish late, low down to 18. Tomorrow, sunny, cold, winter-like wind chills in the morning with a height of about 37. Light winds around southwest to south for the afternoon. Creasing clouds, windy, milder for the day on Friday up to 52. Quiet weather for the weekend with highs to about 43 Saturday, 41 on Sunday. Sunday night and Monday morning, a hint of rain and wet snow, then a couple of showers and a thunderstorm Monday. Highs up to 48. Back to windy and colder weather Tuesday next week. Temperatures will fall into the 20s by day's end. We'll keep you posted. For Stevie J Broadcasting, I'm meteorologist Greg Solgay.
Ignition sequence start. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff.
Check. I literally just create madness.
Well, they're up.
I'm going to go off here.
They don't have a great quarterback.
I got to take a break. I'm getting in trouble.
To win the Big Ten, you first got to win the West.
Bad Bunny.
Have you heard his name in a while?
No.
Has it bothered you?
No. Defensively, they got to come in with some confidence.
Is that even analytics?
I'm in a parking garage, kind of lost.
Terrence Shannon, Matthew Meyer, R.J. Melendez, Coleman Hawkins.
These trophy presentations aren't over. I didn't come here to go 5-7.
I'm so proud of Illinois football right now.
I'm so tired of Joel Embiid.
We're not taking Patrick Corbin.
I want to bet the Bears.
Oh.
You are Reba McEntire's niece.
Roshan Russell.
Coach Bielma.
You no longer here. Salute to yourself.
What? We got all kinds of things for you here.
There's a lot of glass.
Oh.
Guys, we have breaking news.
Uh-oh.
It's The Drive.
Smack Dogs. Derek Piper, I'm ready to talk baseball. But as Kyle
the hot stove, it's not so hot.
No. By the way, happy birthday yesterday to Mike Claiborne, our buddy Claibs. Congrats to him. He's just honestly one of the best people I've ever met in my life. So happy birthday to Claibs. I know he's listening down in the loo. Probably not, actually.
Sure, he's having a good time.
You think Claibs comes home after a couple of pops and fires on the Drive with Tay and Piper podcast? Has a glass of wine. He's got the fireplace going, and it's the Drive with Tay and Piper.
Probably not.
Probably not either. No. I agree. All right, we're going to hear a little bit more from Brad Underwood. I want to go through a little bit of the Michigan and the Wisconsin games and what happened there last night. And we're going to talk some NFL this hour. I picked up Darren Waller. Cue the laugh track, essentially, on that one. But, hey, in case he's healthy, he's better than Tyler Higbee, maybe.
Would you pick up, if he was available, Odell Beckham?
I thought of that, but my receivers are actually halfway decent. Now, my running backs are bad.
It's going to be interesting where he lands. The fact that he's doing the recruiting tour. Right. He's going to go to the Dallas, the Giants.
It's weird.
Who's the other one?
I'll say this.
American Airlines.
If you have Antonio Gibson from the Commanders, play him this week. And let me tell you why. Nobody needs to hear my sob story. So I picked up Antonio Gibson, and Brian Robinson Jr. kicked his butt. So what I did this week is I picked up Brian Robinson and dropped Gibson. So Gibson is guaranteed to go over 100 yards this week. So that's my fantasy tidbit for everybody out there. Chase Brown, I'd pick him up for fantasy. When it comes to stats, he led Power 5. There was only one running back, and that was in, FBS? The kid from UAB. But otherwise, Chase Brown was the leading rusher in the country. He was the leading rusher in the Big Ten. He caught passes. He blocked very well for his quarterback, Tommy DeVito, who, by the way, is at 70% completion percentage. Do you fall asleep every night just with a smile on your face? I bet you do. I bet you have never
You know how much
better.
that means to me.
I know it does. I bet you've never slept better in your life, Pipes, than what you do now. Like you give Haley a kiss. You've got Cade tucked in. You say goodnight to the cat. You know, the Christmas lights are on. It's snowing out, and Derek's just kind of snuggles in bed with his heating blanket, and he just looks at the sky, and he's like, Tommy DeVito's 70% completion. And out.
Works every time.
It's like your NyQuil is the Tommy DeVito smile on your face. Chase Brown did not make first team All Big Ten. I get it that the other two running backs that did are very good, but when you are a Doak Walker finalist, when you were considered a Heisman candidate possibly midway through the season, now that really shouldn't affect anything, but it's worth throwing out there, and you led the league in rushing and averaged 5 yards a carry, and you can't make first team All Big Ten, is that a crime, or is it just kind of a tough call with those other two running backs?
It's a good question. Is it a crime when Blake Corum and Mo Ibrahim, really good running backs, top-notch running backs?
Corum couldn't stay healthy all year.
Yeah, good point. It's just head-scratching. The fact that not only it happened with the media and the coaches to where that this was their vote and Chase was second team on both. And I know that we had a text in the U of I Lightning Link text line bringing up that Chase Brown is a Doak Walker Award finalist. There's 3 running backs on that list. He, Corum, Bijan Robinson from Texas. There's 2 Big Ten guys on there. You think, there's the 2 top running backs for first team All Big Ten. No
brainer.
That's not how it goes.
I don't get it. I think Ibrahim, or however I'm tired of saying his name.
Ibrahim.
Okay, Mo, I think both he and Corum had more touchdowns than
They
Chase
did. That
Brown.
was the big thing in terms of what jumps off the page statistically. Mo Ibrahim had 19, Corum had 18, and Chase only had 10.
Did they both have better per yards per carry?
I wondered about that. Corum was 5.9, Ibrahim was 5.2, and Chase was 5.
No.
A flat 5. So the yards per carry and touchdowns were the things that stood out on paper.
Because I almost thought to myself, his durability, his being Chase, almost hurt him in the sense that, well, it took him this many more carries to get to. But it's like, what? I mean, he was only 0.2 yards behind Mo and less than a yard behind Corum. Well, that's a lot. That's a big stat.
Yeah. I just think that when he leads the Power 5 in rushing, knowing how much he meant for a team that wasn't supposed to be good.
That's a great point.
That should factor in when you look at a team that's win total was 4.5. Everyone would have picked them towards the very bottom of the Big Ten West. They win 8 games, and if you're listing off the top reasons why Illinois was that good, Chase Brown, I know the defense is a big reason why as
He's
well.
top 3 in that.
And well represented on the first team on the other side, but how does he not get on there? How does team success not factor in where he's on a better team than Mo Ibrahim?
Right. You beat him.
And if this was a situation, we see it in basketball where like Penn State's had the leading scorer some years, but they are a below 500 team, and you're like, all right, do you put Tyus?
Right.
What was that guy's name?
They had some guards there that were really good.
Taylor Battle.
Yeah.
I don't know. He might have been a first teamer, but if Illinois is 4-8 instead of 8-4, then maybe I would
kind of understand.
Then I would be like, okay,
yeah.
But for them to be an overachieving football team, and a large reason for that's Chase Brown, and then statistically, like the volume of what he got was awesome. It should make you mad.
You just nailed it. And really, I mean, let's think about this. The offense was Chase Brown for the most part. I understand that Tommy DeVito had a good year. 15 touchdowns, I think 4 interceptions, ran for 3. I mean, DeVito had a great season. Don't get me wrong. But you don't have an elite wide receiver out there. Whereas, like with Michigan, you saw what they did to Ohio State. McCarthy's throwing the ball all over the court, all over the field. So you've got the idea. What I'm trying to get at here is teams could kind of load the box against Chase Brown. I mean, they pretty much knew, if nothing else, they're going to make Tommy DeVito beat him. and they're not going to let Chase Brown beat them. And he still did things. And it's just, I don't know. It's one of those that's really frustrating to me, and I don't get it. Austin Berkland, our buddy that, of course, worked here for a long time at Stevie J Broadcasting, he had tweeted out something today. Now, I did not go back and research it myself, but I'll trust Austin on this, that he went back to 2004. There's never been the leading rusher in the Big Ten back to 2004 that hasn't made first team All Big Ten. And now Chase Brown. In fact, you had nobody. An 8-win Illinois team had 0 first-team members on offense. Now, maybe that speaks to the strength of your team, like you said, is defense. There's no doubt. But Chase Brown was a hell of a strength of this team, and for him not to make it is a crime, and it's a shame. I'm sorry, Mo, you were a hell of a running back, and you're a great second-teamer. But you're not a first-teamer, and I've got nothing against Blake Corum. I think he deserves to be on that. But I think Blake and Chase were the two best running backs in the Big Ten. And head-to-head, Chase, what did he do against Mo? It was pretty close because Mo ran. He was the first.
Had a pretty good game.
He was the first back to get 100, wasn't he, against Illinois? I believe, if I'm correct.
He had a long streak going as well as far
right.
as 100-yard games, and he kept it up against Illinois.
Chase
it was
Brown,
close, though.
Chase Brown went 2 games this year without running for 100 yards. 2 games out of 12 he didn't run for at least 100 yards. That's amazing. And yet, second-teamer.
Mo had 127 yards on the ground on 15 carries against Illinois. Chase Brown, 41 carries, 180 yards.
Durable. The offense, essentially. And you reward Illinois with nothing.
Well, and as Ryan mentioned, Chase was involved a decent amount in the passing game, too.
Yes. Now, it's just, I think he had over 200 yards receiving and like 5 touchdowns receiving or so.
3 touchdowns receiving, 27 receptions, 240 yards through the air.
I don't know. It's frustrating, and I guess maybe we shouldn't be frustrated. But, I asked Luke Goody at the start of the show, and he's like, Luke said, I would be upset. He's like, you put in a lot of work. These kids put a lot of work in. And, Chase Brown, if you said to him, okay, you can go 4-8, be first team All Big Ten, or you can go 8-4 and be second, he's going to take 8-4 every day.
Right.
But you still put the work in individually, what Chase has done, and then to not be rewarded. Who would have thought midway through the year that one Brown would be a first team All Big Ten? If I would have said that midway through the season, you would have...
Without blinking,
said Chase, and that's nothing against Sid.
No, we talked about Chase having an outside chance to go to the Heisman ceremony.
Right. That's frustrating.
I'll be interested to hear what Brett Bielema has to say about this.
Oh, boy, I was kind of hoping he'd just have a press conference today and just a pop-up press conference to just talk about that.
The thing I would say, though, when we're 5 years down the road, you're not going to remember.
No, I agree.
You're going to remember that Chase has a chance, if he plays in the bowl game, to have the most rushing yards in a season for Illinois. You'll remember that. You'll remember the fact that he's going to be a pretty high draft pick. I don't think that it'll be a sticking point in your mind. Maybe it will because people will remember slights. I'm sure he will.
Oh, sure.
But it won't downgrade the type of season that he had in any sense.
I want to ask you this because you brought up the good point. I think he needs like 60 yards to become the all-time single-season rushing leader in Illinois history. He would pass who? Mendenhall and...
Michael LaShore?
Michael, is that right? Okay. Knowing that he could basically wake up tomorrow and run for 70 and get it, and knowing that it's a bowl game that he's never played in, I don't think, right? Has Illinois played in a bowl game since he was here?
Redbox, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He would have been on that team, I believe.
Was that the Kraft Fight Hunger 7-6 victory or whatever that was over UCLA? Does he play in the bowl game, or does he sit out not wanting to get injured?
He actually didn't play in the 2019.
Oh, he didn't. Okay.
Bowl game. So he hasn't played in a bowl game. I think that you would hope that.
I think he plays.
He gives it a go. I think he will too.
I think he plays. I think Chase Brown is no, like, what did Brett Bielema said, like, on Tuesday of the Michigan week? Chase comes in and goes, I don't get what everybody's talking about, then I'm not playing. He goes, I'm playing. I think he's got that mindset that he he's going to go play, and it's not because of the record of getting the single season right. I don't think it's because of that. I think he just wants to win. He wants Illinois to win a bowl game.
I'm sure you also understanding the importance of what a bowl win would mean to further stamp this as a launching point for the program potentially.
Yeah.
And we saw it with Mendenhall, the performance in the USC game maybe took his stock up a tick or two higher, and maybe that could be the same thing for Chase if he goes off on some SEC school at the ReliQuest for making wishes.
It's happening, man. They're going to Tampa. All right, when we come back, you'll hear from Brad Underwood about his defense and how Illinois essentially won a game without shooting well, and man, was that pulling hair out watching him try to shoot. But I want to ask Derek Piper his thoughts, you were there, on why that team turned it around like they did in the second half. We'll also get to some NFL. We got a lot to do. It is The Drive.
Flowers equals smiles equals happiness. Think love with flowers. The Blossom Basket florist can put a smile on everyone's face with a beautiful spring floral creation. Let their flowers make you a hero. Flowers are always affordable for all occasions, from simple to simply magnificent. Visit them online at blossombasket.com or come into their store at 1002 North Cunningham Avenue in Urbana.
The Blossom Basket florist, the florist you pick.
You have money laying all around your house. You just don't know it. And no, I don't mean selling your great-grandma's good china. I mean all the old metal items you don't want to use or get rid of. Don't pay someone to haul it away. Bring it into Max Twin City Recycling and get paid to have it taken off your hands. They love new customers and are more than willing to walk you through their process step by step. Come check them out at 2808 North Lincoln Avenue in Urbana.
Starting it over is what we do at Max Twin City Recycling.
When you're looking for a business to work with, you choose someone local, someone who's terrific at what they do, a company that helps others in need in Champaign-Urbana, and a company that stands behind what they do. That company is Roof Doctors. Roof Doctors has been keeping the rain out for over 30 years. Randy and Tammy and their family work hard to not only make sure you're 100% satisfied by their work, but that they also strive to have a positive impact on Champaign-Urbana. Roof Doctors in Urbana, they make you their number one priority.
If you're looking for a new car, go to Sarah Champaign, because at Sarah Subaru, they have over 100 new Subarus available right now, all with symmetrical all-wheel drive. The Subaru Share the Love event is on too. With every new Subaru purchased or leased through January 3rd, Subaru will donate $250 to your choice of charities. Sarah Subaru will also donate an additional $50 to the Champaign County Humane Society and the Developmental Services Center right here in our community. Visit Sarah Subaru right off Route 45 in Savoy.
Here's what new customers are saying about Interstate Batteries.
It's nice to see capable and helpful associates. They did a top-notch job.
They were easy to talk to and explained everything.
Service was prompt and I was a walk-in. Total service time was only like 20 minutes. I highly recommend Interstate Batteries.
Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable. How much is dependable worth? Experience them for the first time at 2504 North Mattis. Way out there, but worth the drive. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Visit InterstateBatteries.com.
Illini fans, mark your calendars for Game Day Spirit's Winter Stadium Sale. Stop by the Great West Hall in Memorial Stadium Saturday, December 3rd from 9 to 1 and score great deals on Illini merchandise you'll only find at the stadium sale. T-shirts as low as $10, crew neck sweatshirts from $24, and hoodies as low as $28. You'll find Illini gear up to 80% off and also a selection of Fighting Illini Equipment Room merchandise. Shop early for the best selection, brought to you by the official fan store of the Fighting Illini Game Day Spirits.
At the Long Branch Steakhouse, you know about the incredible steaks cooked to perfection. But did you know you can have your own private holiday or Christmas party at the Long Branch in Gifford? If you have a company party that you're planning, you can rent the whole place on a Sunday, Monday, or Tuesday night. To plan your event between 25 and 50 people, call 217-568-7722. We did it. It was fabulous. The Long Branch Steakhouse for your Christmas or holiday party. Limited nights are available. Call 217-568-7722.
Like most banks, we offer an app that lets you do pretty much everything you need from your pocket. But at Iroquois Federal, we believe great banking is less about the app you tap and more about what you tap into. And for us, that's a hometown bank where decisions are made locally by the same folks you'll bump into on the bleachers at the next big game, providing the hometown touch that's made us part of the community for nearly 140 years. Iroquois Federal. Still friendly, still local, still here. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Hey, Illini fans, it's Georgia B. Catch my boys Lante and Derek Piper weekdays from 4 to 6 on The Drive. Boom, boom, brr.
One of those nights where the ball didn't go in. Pretty ugly night. And yet I felt great about our offense. I felt great about the shots we got. I felt great about our execution. I thought that for obvious reasons, Coleman's triple-double. But more importantly, I think he's just special against a zone with his feel. And I knew we had the right guy to put in the middle. He played with great patience. He's a great pivot guy. That sounds corny, but you have to pivot a lot against a zone in the middle of it. And and that being said, I thought our guys did a terrific job, kind of sliding open spots. I have a hard time complaining about any of the shots that we took. But I thought we did a great job on Judah Mintz. I thought we did a great job on Joe. Made life tough. I thought our switching was really effective. And I thought in the second half we did a much better job of defensive rebounding.
That rebounding, it's like the completion percentage to Piper to me, that rebounding. Get me rebounds. Lon's in a good mood. It is The Drive with Tay and Piper, Tay, Derek Piper. We're going to talk a little bit more Illinois basketball and then take a quick break. And then Kyle's going to load it up with some NFL. But we do also need to talk about the other two games that occurred last night in the Big Ten ACC Challenge, that being Michigan and Wisconsin, both losing. But Derek Piper, Illinois was up like 8 points, and all of a sudden they were up 28. And I'm like, what in the world how does this happen? What did go right in your mind in that second half to where they were able to kind of flip the switch and just run away from Syracuse?
They shot the three better. They went 6 for 15 in the second half from three, so 40% versus 5 for 24 there in the first half. So took a few less threes, got to the free throw line a lot more. That was one thing. They started attacking the rim better. You had 5 free throw attempts in the first half, 17 in the second half. And defensively, Syracuse got worn down with the way that Illinois was attacking them. Judah Mintz, we talked about being a top scoring guard as far as freshman in college basketball, went 3 for 16, had a really tough night.
Sweet dunk.
Yeah, he put Sky on a poster earlier in that game, but outside of that, didn't have much going for him. And whether it was Sky on him, Shannon, RJ, he saw different guys. Obviously, with Illinois switching on the perimeter, you're going to have different matchups. The length really bothered him. The fact that Sky is strong, he couldn't knock Sky off his spot when he drove in to the lane. And Joseph Girard's shooting slump continued.
Right.
Came in where he had 31 against Richmond last week. Then he played St. John's and Bryant and went 2 for 22 combined. He went 0 for 3 last night. That's 2 for 25. They just can't afford that, and they get really stagnant offensively when Mintz isn't going, and just got ugly and got away from him, and it's a bad Syracuse team.
It is, and it's even like usually when you watch Syracuse play zone, they have so much length, and they don't even really have that.
On the back line, they do, but not really on the front.
Right. Maybe that's what that's what was maybe showing up to me. Is that it did normally it just seems like I got 5 guys that have arms that could stretch from here to the Philo Tavern. And last night they didn't quite have that.
You don't usually see their two at the very point of it with the two guards that are out top, 6'3", 6 foot, 6'1". Their back line 6'11".
Yeah, that's true.
Edwards in the middle was a good shot blocker, and he's a reason why you didn't see Shannon just go downhill every time, because he's able to alter shots and block shots pretty well. And then they had 6'7", 6'8" on the wing. So, but not collectively as lengthy as far as being able to really get out. I mean, they gave up so many open threes, and I know that you're going to do that in the zone some, but they came fairly easily for Illinois. Wish they would have made a few more. I mean, if they did, they would have beat them by 50.
Yeah,
but I think also, not to take away from Coleman making the right pass, it seemed like most every single time. That was a huge credit to him, and it was kickouts to shooters, dump downs to Dane. Like he just made the right play time and time again.
I'm in danger of using the wrong word here when I say this, but are you impressed early in the season of the cohesiveness of this Illinois team?
I think it's getting there. I think so far the fact that you beat UCLA. I wondered if you were going to be cohesive enough to win a tough game out there in Vegas. You did, and could have won too. You led with 3.5 to go against Virginia. So yeah, I thought coming out of Vegas that this team was potentially further along than you would have expected for someone that has as many freshmen as they have, as many just new pieces entering the equation. And then it's a bad Syracuse team, but to beat them nearly by 30 is impressive. So I think defensively, I know that we've teased talking and breaking that thing down. The fact that they're right now 10th in the country defensive efficiency on KenPom, they turn you over at a high rate. It's 21st in turnover rate. And really for a team that doesn't have that, you kind of associate rim protection with like that 7-foot guy in the back end that's blocking shots. Illinois is one of the best in terms of 2-point field goal defense. Their block rate is way up from last year, and that's without having Kofi on the back end. It's just Coleman can provide that, but also when Shannon comes in, when Meyer, when RJ, Dane with his long arms, you're just seeing the results of a longer, more athletic team, and it's making teams now, albeit you haven't faced the best centers out there, and you're going to as you get into the Big Ten play. But so far, they've done a really good job of protecting the paint and just making teams uncomfortable.
Pipes, that frustrates you. That frustrates you when every time you turn around, there's a guy in your face. And then another guy is in your face, a different guy. And all you have to do is remember back to that Houston game last year in the NCAA tournament as an Illinois fan where it felt like if we scored, you were like, oh, thank goodness we knocked that down. You have to work to score against these kind of defenses, and it's the kind of defense that Illinois is playing that, you see the Syracuse guy get frustrated late in the game, get a couple of technicals. That happens because of this defense is making you even get I know early on they got a dunk and a couple of things, but just to even score on Illinois, you got to work to get there.
From the moment you inbound the ball.
Right.
Because they defend you 94 feet and they take the ball out of the point guard's hands and make you.
That can mentally wear you down.
Exactly. And we've seen it happen. We saw it happen with one of the most experienced point guards out there in Tiger Campbell. First time in his career at 5 turnovers. Saw it last night with the young guard and Mentz for Syracuse. So, and then as the game goes on, Illinois with its depth too, the fact that they can rely on their bench to throw out multiple guys to factor in there, it just seems like they're able when they're controlling the pace, which they didn't do against Virginia for the most part. Otherwise, they're able to wear you down and use their depth to their advantage, and then their athleticism and the fact when you switch as much as you do and you can do it effectively.
Right.
Normally, you're like, okay, I'm going to come off this screen and I'm going to have space to make a play. I'm going to be able to decide whether I want to shoot it, whether I want to drive it. When you just switch, all of a sudden there's a different dude that's just standing right there and there's no angle for me. That's what's frustrating when you're able to really switch that effectively.
I really think that Baylor game that Illinois played, was that 2 years ago or last year?
2 years ago.
2 years ago. I really think that game had an effect on Brad Underwood. Absolutely. Or I'll say this, that's how Brad has always wanted to play. I think
it did. I think it had an effect. I think he saw that and was like, okay.
I mean, when he saw Io not being able to get by the front line, the first wave essentially of defense, he was like, okay. And I think that's and it's look, there's no secret. We loved Kofi, we loved that team, but obviously there was a certain dimension to that team where they're not going to be able to switch all 5 guys. Kofi's not going to be able to do that. So now it's like the freedom of, kind of the handcuffs are off and just go. Just, I don't care. Just get somebody in front of you and guard them. And that's kind of the way you feel. If you're an Illinois fan that likes going to home games or just loves the schedule, I want you to listen to this next bite from Brad Underwood. It's not because, the secret's out. The Big Ten ACC Challenge is done. But he was asked about that and kind of how do you fill that game now in the future?
All good things must come to an end. This has been a good thing for a lot of years. We'll set out. We're always going to play one of the toughest schedules in the country. I believe we should play. I'm a big fan of home and homes on campuses so that our fans get to enjoy this. I think that's one of the beauties of this. We'll set out and go try to find somebody to start a series with, and we'll see how things continue to develop as a lot of things could possibly change over the next few years in our landscape.
Kansas.
Let's do it. Derek, I mentioned last night to Jeremy on the podcast that They do have a home-and-home with Indiana, which they're playing this year. They play, I don't know if it's in Lawrence this year and then at Indiana, or maybe it's inverse. So they are going to have a return game against Indiana next year. So maybe it doesn't happen next season. I don't know if Bill would want to play Illinois and Indiana both in the same non-con. Maybe he would. But let's get that done.
I agree.
Let's make it happen.
I think Kansas in 2 years is in the Big Ten.
I hope you're right.
I think
Man,
they
I
are.
hope you're right.
I mean, I don't think there's any secret as to why Illinois and Kansas are playing in football. Like, I feel like Kansas is almost like dipping their toe in the water. Like, let's get a Big Ten team on this schedule to kind of see how we look. I don't know. That's maybe way out. I mean, I know that was done a few years ago before all this craziness started to happen where, a team in New York is in the Big West. That's probably taking it a little far, but you get what I mean.
Before USC, UCLA,
Right.
That probably was before Texas and Oklahoma had made the move to the Big 12.
So I'm probably not right when I say that,
I
but
don't know.
I wonder now if
Sounds good, though. Let's
it
roll
does.
with it.
And if you're a Big Ten guy now, maybe you look at it like, let's see what Kansas looks like against Illinois. Let's see how that looks.
Yeah, and let's be honest, it's a small sample size, but the fact that Kansas had a big step forward for their football program this year, it was a fun team to watch. They had a high-flying offense. Their quarterback ultimately got hurt, but if Leipold's going to stay there, of course, he's probably going to be each and every offseason like, which big fish is going to try to go snatch him away? But
there's no doubt.
If they're going to be a decent football team or just have a chance to be, like, what's the difference between them and football and, like, Rutgers?
I'm with
them and I know Maryland's been a little bit better here recently, but
what they
bring basketball-wise is awesome.
All right, Kyle, you mentioned it. Wisconsin losing at home to Wake. And, of course, Michigan losing at home to Virginia. No slouch there. But, Derek, as Kyle mentioned, the Wolverines had an 11-point, 13-point lead in that and lost late. That was a good game late.
It was. I was still at State Farm watching it on the old YouTube TV, pulling it up, watching the stream. Michigan only scored 23 points in the second half.
Wow.
And in crunch time, they just kind of fell apart. They couldn't get Hunter to the ball. And then their last possession where Armand Franklin went to the line, chance to put the game away. They were up 2, could have made 2 free throws, made it a 4-point game. He missed both free throws.
Both.
And
Jet took a 3.
Yeah, he didn't even get it off, though.
No.
Like, it was a dribble handoff, and Michigan wanted a foul.
I know.
But by the time he even put up the shot, and if you wanted to call the foul, it was after the whistle. So, terrible execution, and one that win would have meant a ton to Michigan, and they needed it.
I agree.
After getting blasted by Arizona State and just looking dicey earlier in the season, needing overtime to beat Ohio at home. And Virginia's kind of playing with house money and in a great spot. If they would have lost that game,
yeah,
we're still good.
I'm with you.
Michigan needed it.
And then the Wisconsin losing to Wake. Did that surprise you?
Yes. I mean, it didn't shock me because I'm not
buying
Wisconsin. I know they took Kansas to overtime.
You do have your Wisconsin hoodie on today.
Yeah. I'm glad you didn't. I thought with Indiana, North Carolina tonight, you're like, oh, you're repping the Hoosiers tonight. I see with the red.
Okay, now I got it. I see where you're going there.
Yeah, Wisconsin's you're gonna take some losses that they don't traditionally take, I believe.
I've got my Bon Air Resort sweatshirt on that actually makes me look 10 pounds fatter than I actually am. But it's the most comfortable sweatshirt, and it's where I'm going to be staying New Year's when Illinois is playing in the ReliaQuest Bowl. Let's go. I hope that happens, man. All right, is that it? Is that good on that? You know, I just
look
thought
towards tonight real quick.
Oh, yeah. What is tonight?
So Purdue, number 5 in the country, on the road at 1-7 Florida State. Should be an easy one.
That should be.
They're 16-point favorites. Duke hosts Ohio State in a ranked battle. Blue Devils 17th, Ohio State 25th. You got Miami at home against Rutgers.
I'm in Miami.
Miami favored by 3.
Okay.
And then the marquee of the night, Indiana number 10 against 18 North Carolina.
8 o'clock?
8:15.
I'm going to watch that, baby.
Time to see early on indications how for real Indiana is. They haven't really been tested outside of going on the road to Xavier.
Right,
then you have
right.
Michigan State against Notre Dame and Nebraska, Boston College.
I want to play one of the cringiest things. I don't know why when I come back, and then we're going to get to the NFL. We'll do it all next. You got to hear this. It's a drive.
Thinking of selling your home? Today's market is crazy, but one way you can be sure to stand out is by replacing your old flooring with new hardwood. And the best place to do it is Carpet Weavers in Champaign. Carpet Weavers boast the industry's best brands, including Shaw, Mohawk, Paramount, and more. When it comes to natural beauty and a rich quality, nothing beats new flooring from Carpet Weavers. And they have financing options for your budget, so you can always afford the floor you truly want. Increase the value of your home by installing new, high-quality options from Carpet Weavers. Find out more online at carpetweaversflooring.com.
Want unbeatable prices on your next furniture purchase, but also seeking that local hometown feel? Look no further than Kelsey Furniture in Tuscola. Customers rave about their friendly, established staff, as well as their great selection, amazing prices, and second-to-none delivery service. They're a third-generation local business, and they've always got your best interests at heart. Find the look you love for less. Open 9 to 5 Monday through Saturday, but always available online at kelseyfurniture.com. That's kelseyfurniture.com.
Market fluctuations can be unnerving for everyone. A proven way to tune out the noise and focus on long-term investment goals is to adhere to a well-constructed investment plan. This is Starla Carr with Provident Financial Group. If you don't have a plan in place, we can help create one designed specifically for you. Call us today for a complimentary consultation at 217-366-3456 or find us online at providentfinancialgroupllc.com.
Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network, member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
'Tis the season for fresh-cut Christmas trees and greens to bring the sweet scent of holidays to your home. And at Prairie Gardens, you know you'll get your perfect fresh-cut Christmas tree with balsams, Fraser firs, and more. And incredible fragrant wreaths, fresh evergreen boughs, and garlands, all at prices you'll love. Plus, poinsettias fresh from the greenhouses. Exclusively at Prairie Gardens. Extraordinary gardening, home decor, framing, and...
Ho, ho, ho! Totally Christmas!
At Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people with amazing service, great design advice, and unbeatable selection and the best prices in town. It's the perfect time to update your home with waterproof flooring, carpet, hardwood, tile, and more. Then complete your rooms by shopping our incredible selection of furniture and accessories. We also offer great financing options. Carpet Weavers Flooring and Furniture Gallery, we're flooring people.
Here's what new customers are saying about Interstate Batteries.
It's nice to see capable and helpful associates. They did a top-notch job.
They were easy to talk to and explained everything.
Service was prompt and I was a walk-in. Total service time was only like 20 minutes. I highly recommend Interstate Batteries.
Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable. How much is dependable worth? Experience them for the first time at 2504 North Mattis. Way out there, but worth the drive. Interstate Batteries. Outrageously dependable.
Visit interstatebatteries.com.
PDR Automotive in Urbana has been providing quality auto repair service for almost 50 years. Trusted by AAA Motor Club, PDR employs ASE certified technicians that use the latest in diagnostic equipment. They offer nationwide warranties and are even authorized to perform vehicle maintenance that won't void your factory warranty. Check them out 24/7 online at pdrauto.com. When you turn the key and the car won't run, call 367-9481. They are what's best for your truck or car. They are PDR.
Hi, it's Stevie J. Sit back and relax and take the drive with Lon Tay and Derek Piper. Weekdays 4 to 6 right here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Okay, I don't know why this is funny because I truly love this guy and his passion, but Kenny Dillingham was named the Arizona State football coach. He, I think, was the offensive coordinator at Oregon. He played football at Arizona State back in the day, right? And I don't know why this is funny to me, but he can hardly talk because he's crying at his press conference.
So I say that because this place is special. The state is special. The people in this room are special. I got guys in my wedding.
Wow!
Right there.
Right there. I don't know why that's funny. It's hard to watch.
My wedding.
Right there. I'm sorry, Kenny. Look, I think Arizona State's got a good coach, by the way. I think they got a good coach. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. I mean, that's not nice to make fun of people. I've done that on this radio show plenty of times where I've started crying. It's like, oh, here goes Tay. Oh, yeah. Kind of like I used to do with Hans D. I limit airtime for Kyle the intern. You got about 10, my friend. Are you ready to roll?
I am. I got enough yesterday, so it's okay.
Yeah, you did. That's true. That's true. You did a good job filling in for Mr. Pipes. All right, let's go, man. What are we in? 11, 12, 13?
13.
We're already in week 13. Okay. And it was
Approaching December.
It was funny because Kyle, going to the break, said, there's actually some good NFL games. That's how bad they've been all year.
First time all year.
Oh, Jesus. All right, I'll shut up.
Starting tomorrow night, Thursday Night Football divisional matchup in Foxborough, Bills and Patriots. Second straight Thursday the Bills will be playing.
Are you surprised, Pipes, that the Bills aren't better than they are? Does that make sense? I mean, I know they've only lost twice, I think, and I think they're good, but I just thought they would be so utterly dominant this season that nobody would come close to beating them.
I think it's a little surprising that there's been as many chinks in the armor as we've kind of seen over the last couple of weeks. But at the same time, when you think about the recent Super Bowl winners, the Rams were having some issues.
Good point.
Down the stretch of last season, came together. The Bucs before that. It's not really out of character for a Super Bowl caliber team to go through a little bit of adversity and to have a little bit of lull during their season. So I'm still not super worried about them, but they have put themselves in a situation where home field advantage could have been there for the taking, but now they might have to go back to Arrowhead if they really want to go all the way to the Super Bowl.
That's fair.
Is the AFC East in jeopardy of going towards the Dolphins, might I say?
I like it. Hey, you did your job and you beat them.
Think so.
Got Packers-Bears this week from Chicago. Can the Bears get it done?
I'm in Miami.
I need Fields to play. I don't care what any other Bears fan says out there about trying to get the best draft pick. Oh, we're number 2 right now. I want to beat Green Bay. I don't care. You could tell me, and this is going way too far. You could tell me that number 2 has a surefire 7-time Pro Bowler, and number 3 is a little bit more of an uncertainty. I want to win this game. I want to turn the tide on the rivalry. Aaron Rodgers is going to play. I'm sick of losing to Green Bay.
I'm with you.
Sick of it.
I could understand. Totally. I could understand it.
Will they?
I'll go Bears.
Yeah.
I'll go Bears.
Fields has to play. He's a question mark right now. If he doesn't, there's no chance.
The Bears.
Got a couple ugly ones here. The Steelers in Atlanta taking on the Falcons.
I don't care.
I think that's the proper response.
Because Atlanta's out of it now, right? I mean, there for a second, we thought Atlanta could win that division.
Yeah, we entertained the idea. I'll say that.
Right.
Yeah, this game doesn't really matter.
By the way, I gotta thank Mike for texting us in. Mike King. Illinois women's basketball playing Pitt right now in the ACC Big Ten. Illinois is up 92-63 with under 2 minutes to play. I'm telling you what, it might be time to take notice what is happening.
How many points does Adalia McKenzie have? Because she's been on a roll.
25.
Yep.
25 points right now. Thank you, Mike. I don't know how good Pitt is. And they lost to Delaware by 3, but they hammered Charlotte. Those were 2 NCAA teams last year.
We could probably have a fun game of let's name how many high major wins Nancy Faye had.
Oh.
And be a quick game. So, take everyone you can get.
You are born.
Yep.
Nancy Faye, Illinois women's basketball.
You are born.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Kyle. I'm sorry. Thank you, Mike, for that. That's awesome for Illinois.
7-1 is 7-1. I mean, no matter.
She is about to get as many wins as Nancy Faye had in 5 years. I'm giving myself. Oh my goodness. We got to get Sean on.
We should.
Coach Carino. We tried that one other time, and I think she was out recruiting and kind of forgot about us, but we'll try it again. We'll get a hold of her. All right, go. I'm sorry, go.
Jaguars and Lions from Detroit.
Yeah, okay. Move. Next.
Real quick, though.
Oh.
Illinois won 7 games last year. Illinois won 5 games the year before that.
Oh, my goodness.
They will be 7-1 with
They'll
this
be
win?
7-1, I think.
All right.
Okay.
Sorry, Kyle.
That is awesome, man. I've told everybody that will listen. I love it when Illinois women's basketball is good. It's fun. Teresa Grintz had that thing rolling with Allison Curtin and the crew. Ashley Bergeron was awesome. She has her number on the rafters at State Farm Center. Unbelievable player. Get me back to that. Get me back. I mean, Kyle's like, he comes onto campus.
Everyone is winning.
He comes onto campus, and it's like, well, this is pretty easy. A football team wins 8. Men's basketball's ranked all season. The women's basketball team is winning. I mean, Dan Hartlem's crew will go to the College World Series. Coach Perry's crew will go to the College World Series. I mean, it's just that simple.
Who would have known that Kyle shows up and, like, volleyball's not?
Yeah, right.
Maybe the top team were being like, they're really good this fall. I know, obviously, basketball's been here for the last couple of years.
I know Illinois had I can't remember her name, but she made all Big Ten volleyball. Raina Perry, is that her name? I should know that. I apologize. All right, go ahead, my friend.
The Mike White-led Jets in Minneapolis to take on the Vikings.
Are you a firm believer that the Vikings can win games in the playoffs?
No.
I don't know why you couldn't.
I'm not a firm believer.
Okay. I'm with you on that.
I like their offense. Their defense still leaves some question marks for me. I don't know how good their defense really is. And Kirk Cousins. I think he still has to show that he can win some high pressure in the spotlight type of games. Now, this is the window that he's awesome at, the noon window at home.
Right. This is the one he really...
So I like this for them, even though the Jets defense is really good. The one thing, Mike White played good. Well, I should say.
Yeah.
That's not good grammar.
Well, I know what you're saying.
But the hype around that, and even on the broadcast, they're like, oh, man, this has got to be really tough for Zach Wilson, and then to see Mike White do this. The Bears' defense is one of the worst out there in the entire NFL. To go from playing the Patriots, I know I'm not making excuses for Zach Wilson.
That was before they got rid of Roquan.
And Robert Quinn.
And Quinn.
Yeah. So I would pump the brakes a little bit on Mike White's the savior. He's going to be Joe Namath. I like the Vikings in this one.
Okay. Raina Terry. That was my fault. I don't know what I said. Anyway,
you said Perry.
Perry. Unanimous first team. Brooke Mosher, all freshmen. And then the award that Lon Tay would get in certain sports, the sportsmanship award goes to Diana Brown. Lon, you suck at what you do, but you're really nice. So we're going to give you the sportsmanship award. Thank you. Now, Diana does not stink. She's very good. All right, Kyle, sorry.
Big game in the NFC wildcard race, Commanders and Giants.
Let's go.
From East Rutherford, MetLife.
I want to ride the Giants train. I'm kind of having fun riding the Giants train. I'll go Giants.
I'm kind of having fun watching Taylor Heineke win football games.
No doubt.
We rag on the NFC East.
It's been really good.
It's been a pretty good division, so credit to them.
The Commanders are just good halfway.
They are. I'll go Commanders.
Oh, I'll go Giants.
Really intriguing game from Philadelphia.
Saquon, by the way, free agent after this year. Do you take I mean, the Cardinals won't and the Bears won't. Do you take, how big is he for the Giants? He's been injured a couple of times.
He's huge.
But when he plays, they win.
You think they're winning? You think they're 7-4 because of Daniel Jones?
Yes. It's because of their tight end that has the big beard.
Uh-huh.
He's especially good. All right, Kyle.
Real intriguing game from Philadelphia. The Titans, 7-4 against the Eagles.
Who was it? Colin Cowherd? I don't think it was him. Somebody was like, the Titans will win that game. It's a no-brainer. Don't even think about it. I'm like, really?
Really?
Here we thought Philadelphia might not lose. I don't know. Who's the Titans coach, former Patriot?
Mike Vrabel.
He's good.
Darn good coach.
He's really good. I'll go Eagles, though, at home.
Yeah, I like the Eagles, too. I just think they check a ton of boxes. Their defense is really good. Hurts has been awesome. They ran the ball. I mean, it was against the Packers who can't stop the run.
Right.
But still, Hurts went for 180 on the ground, and Miles Sanders had a really good game. I still think the Titans can score enough to beat them.
I will go out on a limb and say that this game will be covered by Sal Paolantonio.
It's a great call.
Okay. That's the bet of the week. Like, that's the one where it's like, I'll take Kansas basketball beating NC A&T. That's what you like. I would bet $10 on Sal covering this game to win 4 cents.
Yep. Used to always be Ed Werder down
in
Cowboys
Dallas.
camp.
Yes. Who was the little dude that John
Clayton.
John Clayton. How about the commercial where he's like in his bedroom, you know, he rips off the, "Hey, Ma!"
I'm done with my segment.
He lets his hair out. He starts playing the drums or something. John Clayton. All right, Kyle, sorry.
The mess of a team that is the Denver Broncos in Baltimore playing the Ravens.
The Ravens' defense is horrible, but you don't have to be that good to beat Denver. I'll take Baltimore.
Deshaun Watson is back, and he's in Houston taking on his former team, the Texans.
What can I say about this one?
All hands on deck.
There you go. Someone had to.
I'm intrigued to see how he plays. I'll put it that way.
Houston.
And I have Amari Cooper.
Houston in the upset.
Okay, we'll go Houston.
Seahawks and Rams from Los Angeles. The Rams are a mess, too.
They are a mess. Yeah, they'll beat the Hawks, though.
Was Stafford out still?
Oh, that's right. Is he still out?
I believe so.
I'll go with the Hawks.
Yeah, Seahawks.
I tell you, Geno Smith's had a pretty good season. A darn good
Hard
season.
to argue.
Like Pro Bowl type season.
Stafford's doubtful.
Okay.
He's going to be a 3,000-yard passer.
Yeah.
Going to throw mid-20s as far as touchdowns. Been a really good year.
Stafford's like sitting on the side watching people fall off stages just going, oh, well, don't want to go help them. Ever since then, bad karma.
Man.
That's terrible. I mean, can you just at least run
Some
up and
truth
see
in that.
if you're
There's
okay?
Some truth in that, yeah.
Good Lord. All right, Kyle.
Bad luck.
Yeah.
Couple of real good ones here in the later
Because
slate.
I've never had a bad luck in my life. You know, I've never done anything to throw any kind of bad luck on me. All right, I'm sorry. Go.
Well, Lon would definitely be there to help because he'd know the person. He knows everybody.
Right. I'd be like, well, Brooke just fell.
Yeah.
Who's Brooke? Well, remember we met her last year at the mall eating
if
at Olive
anyone
Garden.
were to fall in the tailgate lot, Lon would be there. He would know their name, their family.
I'd pull the Band-Aid out of my wallet. I'd be like, here you go. I got you a Band-Aid. I would know. Yeah, I went to college with her dad.
Wouldn't surprise me.
Tommy Johnson. All right, Kyle, we got to go. Hurry. I'm telling him to hurry.
The best games here, you have like
You're
10
taking way
seconds
too
for.
long, Kyle.
I'll do better. Dolphins and 49ers from
go.
San Francisco.
What do you think? What do you think?
Yeah. This should be fun.
It
Best
should be.
defense in football versus one of the best offenses.
I'll take the Niners, though.
I kind of am with you. I know the Dolphins' offensive line is banged up, too.
Yeah.
Could be a problem against Bosa.
Niners?
Dolphins.
Oh.
There we go.
Okay.
Tua outplays Jimmy G.
I like it.
Chiefs and Bengals, Mahomes and Burrow from Cincinnati.
Whoa.
Bring on the points.
Whoa. I go Bengals here.
They got him last year in a huge shootout, right?
Not the
Bengals.
group Bengals. I'm going Bengals.
Bengals.
Bing. Are you going Chiefs?
Yeah, I'll take the Bengals.
Okay.
It's the first time I've ever said Bengals.
It sounds weird for me to say Bengals. The Bengals. All right, Kyle. Sorry.
Chargers and Raiders from Las Vegas. Sunday.
So would have been if you would have told me at the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Oh, Week 13 spotlight
Chargers
game.
at Vegas. Like,
Can the Chargers still make the playoffs?
They're 6-5.
Oh, they are. Okay. I'll go Chargers. Yeah.
Chargers. Even though Josh Jacobs, you talk about fantasy.
Man.
I was going against him and he had 45 points.
He's put up some numbers.
It's tough.
We got a minute, Kyle.
Sunday night, Colts and Cowboys from Dallas.
Cowboys. I'm like tired of watching the Colts. Like, I wish they would just say, you're done for the year. No more Colts games. You're done.
I agree.
Say that to the Broncos, too.
Yeah. Colts and Broncos, both, you're done. And Arizona Cardinals, you're done. And Bears. Those 4 teams have to sit out the rest of the – well, no, because –
if Fields is healthy, I think people like watching him play.
True.
If he's not, then we'll gladly sit that one out.
We need one more other NFC team. How about the Saints? You're done.
I agree.
Just get rid of the Texans, too. I mean, let's just start getting all these terrible teams out of here.
By week 13, they should just narrow the field to like 12 teams. They'd be like, nobody else is playing. Just these guys. All right, last one, Monday night.
Monday night, Saints and Bucks from Tampa. Will the Bucks actually try and win that division finally, or keep losing?
I'll go Bucks.
The Saints have been a thorn in Brady's